Good morning. This is the Renault Kangoo ZE. Now, I have, the reason I say ZE at the end of that is because it's all electric. There is no diesel, there is no petrol used to power this car. It is all electric. And this is the first time I've actually been kind of let off the leash when it comes to driving these electric cars, because like I can now go wherever I want to go at whatever speed I like. Whereas up until now it's been all prototypes, so this is the real deal. Now, this is a 5-seat passenger version of it, but you can fit a Euro pallet into the boot as well as 5 seats. But it's very big. I just thought I'd test something different rather than just the Fluence. The Fluence will have a test in a few weeks. There goes another one. Put it beside me. Now, so this is the very same as starting a normal car. You turn the key, then you hear go. The beeping stops. There we are. We go back down into D. Hit the handbrake off, and here we go. Now the range at the moment says 107 kilometres on the dashboard. In theory the range is about 120 kilometres. It's so creepy having no sound when when you push your foot down. Now, good comfy position, I have to say. It's seating like a van. It feels quite heavy when I put my foot down. The car itself feels heavy. So we'll see. Now on my dash here I have a fuel gauge, which is actually an electrical gauge, obviously. I've even turned the heater off and the radio off, so there's no drawn power from anything else other than me driving it. Ooh, it's weird. Anyway, I have, I'm trying to keep it in the blue. There's a little gauge over to one side there that shows me how I'm using and how I'm charging and discharging. There's a red part, and I'm trying to keep out of that red bit. I am going to drive around the town today as much as I can. I'm going to head for the M50 now, because I want to see what it's like out on a big road at speed. I'm going straight into the red there because I'm trying to get up to speed a little bit, because there's cars around me and I'm trying not to hold them up. Just adjust that, looking out the back van window. It's so weird having no engine note at all. I can hear that car beside me. I can't hear anything else, mind you. Pull over here because we're going to go northbound on the M50. We go towards the city. In theory, these cars are supposed to be city vehicles in a way. You know, they can go out on the big roads, but realistically, city driving is where this is meant to be. Great amount of torque in it. It feels heavy in comparison to the Fluence that I've driven before, and mainly because it is heavier. It's a very big car. This is a van, a very big van. I've used a kilometre of range. I have 106 kilometres left. I'm trying to get back down the blue. I'm doing 80 kilometres an hour, and I'm just at the top part of the blue bit, which tells me I'm using a bit of fuel. Now we're going to decelerate now, try and recharge, and yes, we are recharging. Yes. Oh, the noise. Woo! Now I'm trying to be efficient in my driving. I'm trying to drive as efficiently as I can. That bag is just rolling around in the boot back there. Now I'm well into the red because I'm actually going uphill to get onto the M50. Here we go, we're pulling out on the M50 now. There's a truck in the middle lane. Whoa, I'm getting buffeted around there. 26 kilowatts per hour I'm using at the moment. I just know, is that a lot? Is that a lot? You see my breath? It's freezing in here. I have the heater turned off. I have the heater turned off because I don't want to use any electricity. I want this thing to go as far as I possibly can get it to go without messing. So it's gone off full now. I'm just settling into this really. I'm trying to settle into what the car is. And I'm stuck now at kind of 75 kilometres an hour. There's a car in front of me. And plus I'm trying to stay out of that red zone as much as I can. So I'll tell you what we'll do. There's no point in fluting about. Let's get up to speed here. We'll go up to 100 kilometers an hour. It's weird. The sound is weird. It's just this hum from underneath the bonnet. There's 95. I'm really using electricity now, and I mean really using electricity now. I'm getting a bit of range anxiety now because I was hoping to be filming this for basically the whole day, and well, range is really dropping away, and I'm 98 kilometers. I'm at 95 kilometers an hour, and it's just, well, eating itself. I'm stuck constantly into the red now because I'm up at that kind of speed. Although I am getting off this M50 fairly shortly. Right, so we're just going to get off the M50 now, and we're going to head into the city, and I'm going to have a drive around inside the city as well. This could be a laugh. But see what it really like, I suppose, if you're going to use it every day. I have a big automatic handle there. It's very easy to drive. I mean, in the same respect that an automatic is very easy to drive. It isn't really an automatic. There's no gears. Okay? There's a box under the bonnet, and it's run by, there's one gear, go. I find that when you decelerate, the force that comes on is quite heavy. It's like changing down to third from fifth, you know, when you decelerate. As soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, it's like bang, you're slowing down. Now I'm using very little fuel, now that I'm down in kind of city speeds. I'm doing 55 kilometers an hour, it's a 60 kilometer an hour zone. Traffic is moving along nicely, and I'm freezing! I'm glad I wore a heavy jumper today because it's very cold in here. Because I didn't put the heater on. I put nothing on. Nothing. Even the radio's turned off. I turned everything off. Everything. Anything could possibly draw power, I've turned it off. Now I'm recharging at the moment at minus 11 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts, 9 kilowatts. But I am recharging, that's the important part. Ooh. There's no creep. Just notice that. There's no automatic creep. So when you take your foot off the brake, nothing happens. It doesn't creep forward like an automatic car. But thinking of the Kangoo, it's huge! It's got a big bin up here. It's massive. I could get a Euro pallet into the back along with 5 adults. It's not very pretty though. I'll say that first. I'm using no power now at the moment, sitting at traffic lights. Green light! Here we go. Now I reset all of the kind of mile tripometer things that are in it when I took off to see just how far I'd go on the charge. At the moment I've come 14.5 kilometers since I started, so we'll say 15 kilometers, and I've used down to the first little notch. Charging now, charging at minus 20. We're at the traffic lights again. Ooh. That's a big bus. I am full cold. God almighty, I am so cold in here. And I won't turn the heater on. Do not turn the heater on. Now, a few questions we got while I was looking at the traffic lights. I announced that I was going to be doing this test here on Monday over Twitter and on YouTube and, Facebook and things. And I got a good few questions in from the buying public, or people who were very interested in this. A lot of people asked, on a frosty morning, is fuel economy or electrical economy affected by the frost? And yes, it is. Obviously, you're not going to be like me and freeze to death in the car. You're going to use the heater. So using the heater, the lights, the wipers, all of them things will generally affect your fuel consumption by about 15% in one of these. If you put that in perspective when it comes to, say, a diesel car, when you start in the morning on a frosty morning and all has gone badly for you and you're trying to get the car warm, until it's warm, it's probably about 50 or 60% less efficient during that warm-up phase on a frosty morning. So electrical car actually does pretty well when it comes to fuel economy on a very frosty morning. So that's one question answered. Some of the other questions I can't answer until I've actually driven around for a good while in and see how far I get and what I'm doing. Another question was, is it a sort of a KERS system that recharges the car? And yes, it is. It recharges from both braking and from just deceleration in general. It is absolutely silent at traffic lights, and even when you take off from traffic lights. Not hybrid silent, just silent. There's just no noise at all. Every once in a while you hear as the engine spins up. Heading right into the city now. So far it's been very fuel efficient in the city. It was out on the M50 where it didn't seem to be able to deal with that sort of kilometres. It's going to rain. I don't believe it. The reason I say that is because I might have to use wipers or lights or something. And I really want to get this as far as I can go under extreme circumstance and just see what happens. If I get too cold, I'm going to turn on that heater because I'm already freezing. It's weird to be able to hear everyone else's engine around the area. Everyone else's. I can hear engines around me, but I can't hear anything coming out of my own. It's a very strange experience. So quiet. It really is. I'm doing 50 kilometres an hour and I can whisper. Not a sound. So nice. There's a taxi man driving along with his hazard warning lights on, which is I can park anywhere button. Bang! You hit it on the dashboard. It was not there, but you can hit it on the dashboard. That means you can pull up anywhere. It's in the law books. Now we're just coming on to one of the bridges around Dublin. I know which is the main one. There's the Liffey there. Look, see. I could easily park or drive in the bus lane because I'm about the size of a bus. There's Guinness and Diageo over there. There's a lot of roadworks happening here. I don't know what's going on there now, but they're making a hames of it. Look at the state of the road. Down to one lane along here. Stupid. It's actually quite nice to drive this car. It's so easy to drive this car. Not only do I not have to worry about gears, what gear I'm in and what job I'm doing, I don't have anything to worry about really, apart from how cold it is, but that's only because I haven't turned the bloody heater on. I don't know what happens. It's not working. It is. There's cold air coming out of it though. Forget it. I've gotten quite used to just pootling about in this thing now. It's quiet. It's so quiet. Like I can hear that man smoking beside me. There's an S-Class. What's that hole for? What's that do? Looks like a keyhole. Can you see down there? Looks like a little keyhole thing in the front of an S-Class. Answers on a postcard there, folks. I don't know what it's for. It's for flags. Just thought of that. Could be. All right, it's an army. It's an army van. It's an army. Oh, there's an army lad in it. Okay, we're in Bill Cullen's to recharge our Renault ZE, and as you can see from this bit, the bit with the trigger on it goes into the car, and it just goes into the front. Simple little click. Then I suppose this is slightly different when you find them. They're all a bit different, but the connections are all basically the same. I'm supposed to present that there till I get please insert plug. I lift that up there and take the other end of my cable and I plug it in, and that goes green and the car starts flashing its indicators at me. That means it's now charging. So present tag to stop the charging. That all seems very straightforward. Charging it up. Now I'm going to get a cup of coffee and have a look around Bill Cullen's the rest of the cars. And of course, you know, while my car is charging, I thought I'd go and get a cup of coffee. So I'm here in Bill Cullen's, having a nice cup of coffee. There's a TV, little cafe here behind me. And of course I'm going to have a little read. That's not my phone, by the way. It says 3 hours to full charge. See if I can amuse myself for 3 hours. Okay, to unplug from your charge point, you present this, and then you plug that out. That out. You plug that one out. Close your little doors. Job's a good one. Put your cable back in the boot. It's all pretty easy really, isn't it? Okay, that's our charging cycle finished. I didn't actually need a charge, not like I was coming out here because I had to charge. I was coming out here because I wanted to show you all how we go about charging. Is it easy? And yes, it is. Very simple. Now, obviously, I didn't actually need a charge. I had 3/4 of a tank of electricity coming in here in the first place, so I didn't really need to charge. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to charge this car and find out for myself. I'd never charged an electric car before, so it had to be found out, you know. My kilometres range is actually going up at the moment. It is. I have 91 kilometres left now because I'm keeping a nice stable, even speed. I let my foot go slightly up and down on the accelerator. The other thing is that you have to remember that this is just a car. And so the only real difference between me driving a diesel car or a petrol car right now and this is that I don't have a rev counter, I have a kilowatts counter, and I don't really have a fuel gauge, I have an electrical gauge. That's it. This could be an automatic petrol that I'm driving right now because the controls are identical, just D, go, handbrakes here, simple. This has kind of been an easy test for me in a way because all I'm really seeing is fuel economy, to see what the fuel economy is like in one of these cars, and as far as I can tell, it's superb. I haven't really begun to use the electricity in it at all yet. I'm sitting out here in the M50 at 100 kilometres an hour. I have 96 kilometres left to go before it's empty. And that's just if I kept a constant speed right now all the way down the road. It's just a different car. It's just, well, you have to think differently when you're driving. You can't think the way you normally think about the way you drive and how far you have to go. You have to think slightly differently. So it's just another way of driving is all I see. I mean, I'm after doing 85 kilometres. It's written there, 85.5 kilometres since I got the car this morning, okay? I've had one kind of brief charge from a normal charging point in the middle of that, which brought me back up kind of 3/4 full again. And I'm still over half a tank of electricity in it. And now I'm back off the M50. I'm kind of recharging nearly all the time now. It's such a strange experience. I like it. I see the point of it. It won't work for long journeys. We already know that. It's not going to work if you want to drive from Dublin to Cork. Unless you have a couple of days to spare. You'll have to charge it in the middle of it. But, for the most part, Ireland's such a small country. I reckon you'll get where you want to go pretty easy, this thing. It's not difficult. Still going strong after all these miles. I wonder am I setting a bloody record here or something, because I've done 104 kilometres. 104! So there's supposed to be a 120 kilometre range in it. I have driven 105 kilometers. I'm tired. I want a cup of tea or coffee or something, and something to eat. I'm quite hungry as well. And I have over half a tank of juice left in it. So let anybody tell me that electric cars don't work. What can I say? Superb!